This is Paul. Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking about a shuttle. I've taken the shuttle to the airport, or from the airport to Clallam County. My uncle was kind enough to pay for me to be able to take a shuttle when they kicked me out of my grandmother's house. Yes. They said, "Well, it's time for you to go. You've got to go." I was staying at my grandmother's, I think it was after Mike had turned the electricity off on me in the middle of winter. Yes. I went over there for Christmas and I think we were doing pretty well together. I'd make her one meal a day, and I got along with my grandmother really well. I think that I'd stayed with her at different times before I was married, and then when I was going through this divorce, I'd stayed at my grandmother's house a couple times. Well, one day my Uncle Wayne showed up and he said, "Well, you've got a blood disease and I've made arrangements to have your blood tested." And I thought, "No, you're not going to test my blood and I don't have a blood disease." Now, when I looked at the eyes of my Uncle Wayne, I thought, "You look like your eyes are dead." And I got that weird sensation. You ever had somebody that had fish on them and then the fish jump on you and your saliva gets all, you can't really talk because of the lack of saliva? It's almost like you got dry mouth or cotton mouth. Yes. Well, I've had this experience where somebody will approach me and then they'll put their fish on me and they'll suck the saliva right out of a person's mouth. And I thought, well, if I've got to go, I've got to go. And my Uncle Wayne brought his wife Lois with him, and I went in the kitchen and got myself a glass of water so that I could actually speak, because it seemed like when you transport fish, yes. And I know my Uncle Wayne's in the family. I know that. Okay, I understand that. That a fish will suck the saliva right out of a person's mouth is like you can't speak. Well, I drank some water and then I looked at my Uncle Wayne. "Now, what are you doing?" Because somebody did the surprise attack on me. My grandmother had to get her hair done. And my grandma Eunice, she went to get her hair done. And my Uncle Wayne made the decision that I had to leave that day. Po, 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 po. Well, I thought, sure, I'll go. And I was going to load up all my personal possessions. I don't own that much, you can understand. Excuse me. Yeah. But he said, well, he gave me one of my grandmother's suitcases to carry my things in. Well, we drove to SeaTac and we stopped at one of these Ethiopian restaurants. And I went to a tobacco store and purchased 3 packs of cigarettes, and my Uncle Wayne put me on the shuttle from SeaTac to Squim with only $15 in my pocket. I said, "Well, I'm not going to forget how kind you were to me when you took everything I owned, kicked me out of my grandmother's house, and left me with only $15. Yep. There are going to be a lot of those that would ask, "Well, shouldn't you have some mercy or compassion on those that have badges on?" And I'll be like, "No, I'm sorry, I don't." You can go to prison! Seem like those that tortured me and my family for the last 6 years don't understand how difficult it has been being homeless. Now, I just wanted to know, when you sucked the saliva out of my mouth so that I couldn't talk, there could be the possibility that other people have had a similar experience where you put a fish on a person, you take their mouth, and then they just can't say anything. Now, I'd like to know how many police officers in Clallam County know about being in the fish family. How many times did you suck the saliva out of a person's mouth because you had to be on them so that they could not say anything? Now, I got on that shuttle and I got over here to Clallam County, and I can't remember exactly. Oh, I have a good friend, and I was able to stay at her house for 2 or 3 days because I thought the military was going to put the kibosh to all of this top secret military intelligence operation. But I kind of had to leave, but one of her sisters allowed me to stay at her place, and I stayed there for 2 or 3 weeks and kind of was waiting around wondering why it is that I'm not getting my rights or my sons, and I understood the military was having some difficulty in the United States during that time. I'm going to want those rights today.